literally millions made an effort to catch at least a glimpse of the drivers and cars throughout the 5 days. It started in Bath last Saturday, then followed a 160-mile loop returning to the city and resuming on Sunday with a route through the Midlands via Birmingham to Liverpool, thence across the Pennines to Leeds and on to Scotland with those frightening forest stages in Kielder. From Hawick, the rally returns south through the Lake District on to Wigan and then from Wrexham through the Welsh Forest to Swansea and finishing in Bath on Wednesday afternoon. And it's in this beautiful city that we start our report. In Bath city centre on Saturday morning, competitors prepare for the start. Partisan support is immediately apparent. As the Lord Mayor arrives, so the tension builds. Undoubted favourite for victory is Sweden's Stig Blomqvist, this year's British Open champion. But he can expect a major challenge from the newly crowned world champion, Finland's Hannu Mikkola. Michel Mouton from France is also expected to be among the leaders. Swedish star Bjorn Valdegaard leads the Toyota Challenge, and while the ever-popular Henry Toivonen signs autographs, his Rothmans Opel teammate Ari Vatanen looks pensive. Scotsman Jim McRae carries the hopes of British supporters. 10 a.m. and leading the field away is Hannu Mikkola, winner last year and chasing a Lombard RAC Rally hat-trick of victories. The first test in Longleat Safari Park. Conditions are surprisingly good, which tends to make these opening spectator stages rather less of a trial than usual. But, as ever, there are always one or two with problems, both minor and major. Vatanen rounds the lion's cage successfully. And Britain's Russell Brooks in his Vauxhall Chevette is off to a determined start. He's just overtaken a 6-sounding Group A Opel Manta, driven by Belgian champion Marc Duez, who's destined for an early retirement. And Yorkshire's Chris Lord grapples unsuccessfully with a jammed-on handbrake in his Mazda. And an unpleasant surprise for Norwegian John Hogland, whose Skoda's front wheel has jammed. But the first real disaster is reserved for Citroën and the luckless John Weatherly. An engine malfunction on this very first stage calls for desperate measures. As the seconds tick on, Weatherly feverishly searches for a cure.
Can you hold this bonnet up, please?
Well, what's the problem, John? Can you tell?
It's something electrical, but quite what I don't know. None of the wires seem to be hanging off.
Is that rotor okay?
Yeah. You spoke to Chris?
Yeah, just get the cap back on there.
Well, it looks as though it's all going to be in vain. A small bolt securing the camshaft sprocket has sheared after being incorrectly case-hardened. So an otherwise healthy car is sidelined by one tiny component failure. And while one of his more fortunate teammates flashes by, a disappointed John Weatherly can only push his car to the end of the stage and retirement. Competitors leave Longleat House and travel to Ashton Court, Bristol for the second special stage. As expected, the lead is being disputed by four-wheel drive Audi Quattros. Their supremacy on gravel forest roads is undisputed, but they're already dominating proceedings on the tarmac stages before the real challenge has even begun. The others can only fight amongst themselves. From Bristol, the cars head east to Castle Combe Racing Circuit. Mikkola leads the pack. American John Buffum is on his annual rally outing to Europe in his Audi Quattro. Vatanen flings his Rothmans Opel Manta around in entertaining style. As does Russell Brooks, who's developed a good eye for cone crushing. Another visitor to Britain is American John Woodner. He's taking the Great Circle route as the Lombard RAC rally gets into its stride. After a special stage around Cologne Airfield, the last test of the day is back at Longleat, and with fastest time here, Blomqvist squeezes into a 4-second lead ahead of Mikkola. Fastest of the conventional two-wheel drive brigade, the mercurial Henry Toivonen. His teammate Vatanen has been suffering a recurrent problem of sticking brakes. There's no holding a rampant Stig Blomqvist. On Sunday morning at Bewdley Safari Park, he's fastest yet again, powering his 360 horsepower Audi over the twisty 2.7-mile test in just 3 minutes 16 seconds. Undaunted by the Quattro stranglehold, Toivonen gives a typically uninhibited display of driving to finish the test only 6 seconds slower than Blomqvist. British national champion Darrell Wiedner, in his fire-spitting Audi Quattro, is pacing himself carefully on his first major international outing. John Hoglan's Skoda pauses for a celebration pirouette. And the audience is suitably appreciative. And so to the heart of the Midlands, Birmingham's Sutton Park. McRae is 8th, well placed for the forest action to come. And the 350 horsepower Toyotas are all running well. This is Juha Kankkunen. Malcolm Wilson's Ford Escort is contesting the Group A class. And at Weston Park, Blomqvist is fastest yet again. Despite the treacherously slippery asphalt, Toivonen is only 3 seconds slower. But Voldegaard, 6th after the first day, is proving that the powerful Toyota Celica Turbo is highly competitive. He's moving up fast. After a modest start, Brooks, who has a splendid RAC rally record, is getting down to business. No prizes for guessing who's fastest at Trentham Gardens. But Toivonen is still very much in touch with the Audis. Disaster for Mikkola at Knowsley Safari Park. He's cut a corner a fraction too fine, hit a tree stump and collapsed a front strut. The Quattro appears to be almost immobile despite a gathering crowd's efforts. The anticipated battle for the lead suddenly seems a distant memory. Clearly, to finish this stage, the offending wheel will have to be removed. Mikkola gets down to work with the wheel brace while co-driver Arnie Hertz brings out the jack. Already, over 2 minutes have ticked remorselessly by. Only the enormous experience of these two professionals prevents panic setting in.
Come on! Please, right up!
Once the wheel is removed, Arnie Hertz leaps onto the diagonally opposite corner of the car in an effort to reduce pressure on the broken suspension and increase traction at the rear. Finally, some grip is found, but over 5 minutes have passed. Arnie Hertz clings on grimly as Mikkola drives to the end of the special stage.
So if they can get through the two lines.
Michel Mouton's Audi moves up to second. And Vondergaard continues to charge. He's fourth fastest here. Just beaten by McRae's Opel Manta. Despite Terry Caby's attempts to generate interest and excitement, some of the spectators at Knowsley are far more interested in their lunch.
How much time have you lost being able to calculate?
5.5 minutes. But we got out.
Yes, this you got out.
Yes.
At the service point after the Knowsley Safari Park stage, Audi mechanics replaced the front wheel suspension, but Hanno has dropped to 26th place.
So how are you looking forward to the prospect of driving now then?
Oh, it's not first time we have dropped down, so so let's see.
Darkness falls over Yorkshire. The headlamps of countless cars crisscross the moors as a numbing cold grips the rally for the first time. Just north of Harrogate, the action really begins, under a hunter's moon. At dawn at Hoyk in Scotland, Blomqvist still leads, but a fierce night of hard forest rallying has taken its toll. As a result of an accident in Dalby Forest, his Audi looks to be in a sorry state. Stig is not a happy man, especially as the German mechanics don't seem to be terribly interested in his problems. Every major team has experienced a night of setbacks. In the Toyota camp, Eklund has retired, but Vondergaard has stormed through to hold a superb second place.
What happened during the night, Bjorn?
The most surprising thing is we have seen Kildare as nice as it ever have been before. It was a clear night and frozen roads, beautiful.
Beautiful for Bjorn, perhaps, but the Opel team's two Finnish drivers have both been off the road, along with Kankonen and Antero Lainer.
It was sort of crest and 60 meters and 90 right, and there was no advantage arrow, and
So
didn't have time to brake.
were you all three off at the same time then?
Yeah, we were in the row, like queuing on the traffic light.
It was very good up till the Kildare Forest, where we had a puncture and had to drive about 6 miles in a puncture. Dropped about a minute and a half, and maybe 2 places. So, but other than that, we've had no problems.
So where were you then before that then? What
We
position?
were actually lying either 3rd or 4th at that point, but we've dropped back now to, we're not sure whether it's 5th or 6th.
Craig Forest in the Scottish border country. Bone dry and dusty. The road surface frozen rock hard after a sub-zero night. This is classic RAC rally territory. Vondergaard is continuing a fine drive for Toyota, following his recent victory in Africa on the Ivory Coast Rally. But Russell Brooks has stormed through the vast expanses of Kildare Forest overnight and has clawed his way up to 4th place. On his home territory, McRae is fighting to regain 4th place, following a puncture as the cars reach Lowther Leisure Park near Penrith. From 26th position, Mikola has fought back magnificently. He's just passed Bjorn Valdegaard and is now restored to an astonishing second place, albeit nearly 8 minutes behind the leader Stig Blomqvist, who's having no difficulty whatsoever in maintaining his lead. Valdegaard hangs on grimly, hoping to stay in touch with the Quattros. And following his traffic problems in Sleley Forest, Henry Toivonen is also fighting to regain a place in the top 3. Brooks is now engaged in a personal battle with McRae. British honour is at stake. At Lowther Castle Leisure Park, he is only 5 seconds slower than the Audi, but the Scot beats him by 2 seconds and finishes 4th fastest in the Coombe Forest stage. In Group A, Keller Grundle's Volkswagen Golf GTI calls the tune. The Swede is up to 7th place.
Co-driver Mike Nicholson.
Terry Cabey in the second Vauxhall Chevette has had problems, but is climbing back up the field. Monday evening, darkness falls over the Lake District. Grisdale Forest, a long 17-mile special stage, is the scene of a final drama before the cars reach Windermere. Bjorn Valdegaard's once pristine Toyota lies silent and damaged, a long way off the road.
Yes, that's one of those things.
How did it happen?
It's a difficult corner to start with, and we was understeering too much and just went off, and bad luck, it was a tree stump.
We want you in the car. In the car.
No.
Off the road. Go.
As spectators struggle to restore the Celica to the road above them, so crews head towards a welcome night's rest in Windermere. The order is Blomqvist, Mikola, Brooks and McRae.
The Grisdale stage, we tried a new type of tyre, to safeguard punctures, and the tyre wasn't really as good as what we had been using, so we dropped some time to Russell there. I think we're now 20 seconds behind Russell.
I think our positions have changed something like 5 times, but of course the last couple of stages, Grisdale, which were covered in sheet ice, have really changed things because, as I understand it, Valdegaard's gone off, Henry Toivonen's blown his engine up, Jimmy had a minor indiscretion, so that leaves us in 3rd place.
What the stage has been like today?
Very nice, very smooth and nice. A little bit ice in the morning and even now in the evening.
That suits you.
Yeah, but okay, when you have that lead, you have to be careful as well. So it's not so nice to be driving on those ice spots.
Right. What's the forecast for tomorrow? Do you know? Is it going to be continue to be icy?
I don't know really, but anyway, we are going south, so I hope it should be a little bit warmer.
Dawn over Lake Windermere, and back in Grisdale Forest, Blomqvist shatters his previous night's performance with a time over the identical test which is more than a minute faster. His vice-like grip on this event is quite unshakable. McRae resumes his duel with Russell Brooks, but the Englishman draws further ahead following a puncture on the Opel. The gap stretches to 2 minutes 45 seconds. As the rally heads south to Haig Hall on the outskirts of Wigan, Russell Brooks seems secure from attack. In the afternoon sunshine, rallying comes to Alton Park in Cheshire for 2 laps of the racing circuit. Weather conditions are as unlike a typical RAC rally as anyone can remember. Alton Park to Clocainog Forest, and the start of the last gruelling night's rallying through Wales. A cloudless sky heralds a bitterly cold night as Keller Grundle's Volkswagen and Michael Sundram's battered Opel Ascona continue the scrap for Group A honours. With visits to classic Welsh forest complexes like Penmachno, Dyfi, Llanafon and Margam, there's still 15 hours of forest rallying in store before breakfast. Dawn at Swansea and a brief respite. Russell Brooks has been off the road and dropped 3 places. Can he pull them back?
I think the fact that it's now daylight is not so much in our favour, because if you stick your neck out, you can gain more time at night. But we'll see what happens.
Must have been very demoralising for you, that, Russell, though. You were doing so well.
Yes, it was very much so at the time. You know, I know my heart wasn't in driving for a few stages. But these things happen in running, you know. It's a very, very fickle sport, and there's an enormous number of ups and downs. You never know what will happen to other people, so you've got to keep trying.
Southwest Wales, a brilliantly sunny Wednesday morning, the final sting of the tail. A 60-mile forest loop with long special stages over little-known terrain. Blomqvist remains stoically secure with a vast lead, now stretched to almost 10 minutes. Mikkola is equally untroubled in second place. And Brooks' misfortune has left McRae unchallenged in a fine third place. Lasse Lampi's Quattro is fourth. And Brooks himself, fighting back as ever, has now overhauled John Bufham's Quattro to claim a gritty 5th place. Kankanen finishes 7th for Toyota, and 13 years of rallying experience have paid off superbly for Keller Grundle, 1st in Group A and 8th overall. So Bath salutes its new heroes, Sweden's Stig Blomqvist, co-driver Bjorn Cederberg and the irrepressible Audi Quattro. Stig last won this rally 12 years ago in a Saab. Since that time, he's been regarded as the rally exponent of front-wheel drive, a technique he put to brilliant use in the 4-wheel drive turbocharged Audi. Today he's proved that he's at the peak of his powers. Blinding speed in the forests, total commitment, sustained aggression, huge reserves of stamina and enormous experience. A worthy winner of the 1983 Lombard RAC Rally. Well, although the Lombard RAC was the last round of the 1983 World Championship, the title, as you know, had been decided before it, with Hannu Mikkola winning his first world crown, Walter Rorel, the German driver, second, Marco Alén, the Finn, third, and Stig Blomqvist there in 4th place. Of course, the devotees of the sport will continue to conjecture on whom is the greater driver, Mikkola or Blomqvist, but it is the Swede who will lead Audi's challenge next year. So that completes our coverage of the rally season, and I know from the many conversations I've had with you around the country that you derive a good deal of pleasure from our reports, and we'd like to say a big thank you to Barry Hinchliffe and his team who race around the countryside working the most unsocial hours to get us the pictures. Barry, thank you very much indeed.